Hi guys and welcome to CrazyPeppera Revenge. This channel is all about crazy true stories, stuff that happens in real life when things get a little bit messy, people dealing with drama, cheating, lies, breakups, and even revenge. Some stories are wild, some are emotional, but all of them will keep you watching. If you like real talk and real situations, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stick around. This is Crazy Pepper Revenge, where the stories get spicy.
This is where our love ends. In your lies!
I woke up Tuesday thinking it would be just another routine day in the life I'd built over 7 years. Alarm at 5:30 a.m., that annoying beep drilling into my brain, but I never hit snooze. Responsibility was my mantra. My wife Isabella lay beside me, hair fanned across the pillow. I kissed her forehead. She didn't stir. Made coffee in our pristine kitchen. Isabella obsessively kept it Instagram ready, always showing off to her superficial friends. Sometimes I wondered if she only wanted an immaculate life for the photos, but I loved it anyway, or told myself I did. Drove to the office where I'd been a loyal mid-level manager for 7 years. If you'd asked me that morning whether I expected to lose my job, I'd have laughed. My performance reviews were stellar. I consistently exceeded targets, worked nights and weekends, accepted every project without complaint. I was the dependable provider who never let anyone down. By 10 a.m., I was walking out with my entire foundation cracked wide open. "Come in," Declan said from behind his imposing desk. My boss, tall, slicked-back hair, perpetual smug grin like he was waiting for you to screw up. Budget cuts, restructuring, nothing personal. "You've been an asset, truly, but the board eliminated your position." My stomach dropped like a lead weight. My identity was wrapped up in being stable, the earner, the dependable husband and father. In one blow, it was gone. 3 months severance, extended benefits, corporate lip service while my head felt disconnected from reality. I decided not to tell Isabella yet. Instead, I'd do something to cushion the blow. Remind her we were a team. Drove to Trader Joe's, grabbed ingredients for her favorite pasta dish. On impulse, picked up fancy red wine and a $65 bouquet of lilies and hydrangeas. Probably foolish when I just lost my job, but I wanted to signal, look, I'm still the man you married. Arrived home early, spent 2 hours cooking a real feast. Homemade tomato sauce simmering with garlic and basil, fresh noodles, side salad with homemade dressing. Found candlesticks to create romantic atmosphere. It felt theatrical, but I wanted the moment perfect. Isabella walked in at 5:30, our daughter Catalina trailing behind. Catalina was 10, shy but bright, just back from piano lessons. Usually, she'd greet me with a little wave and half smile. This time she stood wide-eyed, sensing tension I hadn't realized was there. "What's all this?" Isabella asked, hand on hip. She wore a crisp blazer, high heels, elaborate nail art. I suddenly felt silly in my apron. "I thought I'd treat you to special dinner. Something happened at work, but let's talk after we eat." Her eyes narrowed. "No, tell me now." "You've never done anything like this on a random Tuesday." So I told her, company let me go, but decent severance, I'd find something quickly. We had savings. It would be okay. Isabella stared at me, then at the bouquet I was awkwardly holding, and snorted. "What's this? A guilt gift from an unemployed clown?" The word stung. I glanced at Catalina, whose mouth fell open like she couldn't believe her mother could talk to me like that. Isabella wasn't done. She took the flowers, walked to the sink, and threw them in. Water splashed everywhere. My heart pounded in my ears. "See, Catalina, that's what a failure looks like," Isabella said, turning to our daughter. Catalina's face twisted in confusion and fear. I stayed frozen, forced to smile, partly from shock, partly not wanting to escalate in front of our child. That night, Isabella unleashed vicious tirade. After Catalina went to bed, she ranted about mortgages, social status, the Aspen trip she'd planned, how humiliating it would be telling her friends. Not once did she ask if I was okay. I migrated to the couch, reeling from her cruelty. Staring at the ceiling, I realized how many red flags I'd ignored. She'd always been obsessed with appearances, always pushing to impress her circle of superficial friends. Next morning, she went to Pilates, ignoring me like I no longer existed. That's when I dug into our finances and discovered she'd secretly opened a credit card 6 months ago, racking up over $15,000 in charges for luxury goods, spa weekends, plus a $22,000 personal loan. Where that money went, I could only guess. Designer bags? Botox fund? The betrayal stung almost as much as losing my job. By the time she came home complaining to her friend about my unemployment embarrassing the family, my entire perception of our marriage had changed. But I didn't know how deep the betrayal truly went. Yet. 3 days after losing my job, I was relegated to the couch again. Around midnight, half awake, I heard hushed voices in the hallway. "Mom, when will we move to my real daddy?" Catalina whispered. I froze. My entire body went rigid. Real daddy? I don't want to live with this clown. I'm scared of clowns. I don't like clowns. My mind spun, heart pounding. Why would Catalina say such a thing? Shh, Isabella said. After I deal with the finances, we'll move. Just a little longer. Then we can be with Declan for good. Declan, my boss. My ex-boss who had just fired me. I almost sat up wanting to confront her, but something told me to remain silent. The conversation was short, but felt like a wrecking ball, obliterating the last standing column of trust in my life. Catalina, my daughter who I'd raised as my own, was apparently calling Declan her real daddy, and Isabella was promising they'd move in with him once finances were settled. I didn't sleep that night. My mind flooded with memories. Times Declan had invited me to dinners, how friendly he'd seemed, how I'd introduced him to Isabella, times he'd pay too much attention to her at company events. I'd chalked it up to him being naturally flirtatious. Now, everything made sense. The contempt Isabella had shown me, her constant remarks about status, the way she had flirted with him openly at the neighborhood barbecue. Come dawn, my decision was made. I would no longer be the gullible husband. If they wanted to label me the clown, I'd show them just how deadly a clown's revenge could be. I rose from the couch, quietly got dressed, and left the house before Isabella even stirred. I dialed an attorney I'd once consulted for estate planning and requested an emergency appointment. The attorney was Margaret Bennett, known for handling high-stakes divorce and paternity cases. I explained my situation, every humiliating detail. Losing my job, discovering the affair, overhearing that Declan might be Catalina's real father. Margaret's eyebrows arched when I mentioned that name. Declan Carter? Isn't that the CEO of your company? Yes, I said. I want to consider alienation of affection suits, paternity fraud suits, whatever can be done. I'm beyond caring about decorum. Margaret nodded, flipping through statutes. Alienation of affection is recognized in some states. We'll need proof of a genuine affair that damaged your marriage. DNA test, thorough documentation, text messages if possible. I leaned forward, voice steady. I'll hire a private investigator. I want photographic or video proof. She's planning to leave me as soon as the finances are in place. I heard it with my own ears. Then do it swiftly. Once you gather evidence, we can proceed with lawsuit. That afternoon, I contacted PI Carl Donovan. He was ex-military, in his late 40s with a calm demeanor and voice like gravel. He listened to my story with professional distance, then asked concise questions. Do you suspect your wife meets Declan regularly? Carl asked. Yes, probably at his office or in random hotels. My bitterness was barely contained. Carl jotted notes. I'll start with her daily routine, track her movements. If they're as brazen as you think, it won't take long to catch them. I gave him Isabella's photos, license plate, schedule of Pilates classes, spa days, everything. It took less than a week. Tuesday afternoon, text from Carl. Got them. Check your email for photos. She's with him right now in parking lot of a Marriott, doing something you won't want to see. Sorry, man. My stomach clenched and hands shook as I opened email. The pictures were explicit in their implication. Isabella's head bent over Declan in driver's seat, intimately engaged with him. You could see Declan's smug expression from half-rolled window. They were parked behind building, probably thinking no one would spot them. I might have vomited if I hadn't been so furious. Sickening wave of betrayal rolled through me, but it also fueled my rage. I forwarded photos to Margaret immediately. I didn't confront Isabella yet. I continued my charade of looking for job, letting her believe I was clueless. In truth, I was orchestrating far bigger takedown. For DNA test, I used discreet mail-in kit. One night while Catalina slept, I took swab from her toothbrush, carefully following instructions for my own sample. I swabbed my cheek, sealed everything, mailed it in. 2 weeks later, results arrived. 0% probability of paternity. Catalina was genetically not my daughter. I felt something akin to massive iron door slamming shut in my soul. Everything Isabella had built was lie from day one. If she'd been cheating with Declan longer than Catalina's entire life, betrayal was so deep I'd never see light on other side. But I wanted more than court victories. I wanted public humiliation. Through Carl, I discovered Declan was also having an affair with Gerald's wife. Gerald, being company accountant, built like linebacker. I anonymously tipped Gerald off with photos and video. Then I orchestrated the final confrontation. Hired 2 private security guards and went to Declan's office building where Isabella was visiting. When I showed up with Baxter and Juan flanking me, Isabella panicked. "James, what are you doing here?" "I came to see Declan." "Is he in?" Just then, Gerald burst from elevator, 6 3 and 250 pounds of pure rage. "Where is he? That son of a witch is dead." "Go ahead, Isabella," I said coldly. "Tell him where Declan is." "Unless you want me to do it." I pulled out phone, showed her the parking lot photos. Her face went white. A few employees who overheard let out hushed exclamations. The receptionist's hand flew to her mouth. "You think I didn't know?" I said, stepping closer. "I've been collecting receipts, Isabella." We stormed to the glass-walled conference room where Declan sat with board members and HR director. Gerald banged door open so hard it hit wall. "We've got business," I announced loud enough for everyone to hear. "Personal business. This man thought he could fire me, take my wife, ruin my life, and get away with it." I tossed DNA results on conference table. "I have evidence you've been sleeping with my wife for years. My daughter Catalina, she's actually your daughter biologically. 0% chance she's mine." The HR director let out small gasp. One board member stood, mouth open, looking from me to Declan. Gerald stepped forward with his phone. "You piece of filth! This is you with my wife!" He played video of Declan entering hotel room with Gerald's wife. "He's cheating on you too, Isabella," I sneered. "Did you think you were his only mistress?" Isabella's eyes darted between us. "How could you? You said you loved me." My guards stepped forward. "Declan Carter, you're being served with a lawsuit for alienation of affection." Baxter handed him papers. Juan served Isabella with divorce papers and paternity fraud charges. "Let's talk about how you told Catalina I was unemployed clown," I continued. "How you planned to move in with Declan once you siphoned money from our account. How you called me worthless and never asked if I was okay after getting fired. I was done with you when you threw those flowers in sink, but now you're dead to me." Gerald grabbed Declan by collar, slammed him against glass wall. Room shook. "You ruined my marriage too." He slapped Declan hard, then shoved him to floor, delivering another blow. Crimson appeared at Declan's mouth. "This is just the beginning," I hissed, leaning over fallen Declan. "I am going to bury you in legal fees and destroy your reputation. I've already got new business lined up with your competitor. They're thrilled you're about to be embroiled in scandal." Isabella rushed forward, tears streaming. "James, don't do this. We can figure something out." "Figure out what? You've already got everything you need, right? Except all that money you stole out of our account is half mine, and I'm going to fight you for every last cent." "Oh, and that lavish lifestyle you love so much? That ends today." Declan spat crimson, trying to stand. "You fool! You were incompetent at your job. That's why I fired you." "Isabella complained about you for years, said you were worthless." I let out a hollow laugh. "You two deserve each other. But guess what? She's not the only one you were screwing behind my back. So maybe you deserve to be alone. Or maybe you can keep collecting women like trophies. Won't matter when your career is torpedoed." Building security arrived, but my guards intercepted them, calmly explaining we were serving legal papers. Gerald stepped away from bloodied Declan. As we left, Isabella reached for me. "James, please, I'm sorry. Let me explain." "I don't want your explanations, but I will see you in court." After months of grueling legal warfare, I prevailed on every front. Declan resigned under pressure from board, publicly disgraced by alienation of affection lawsuit and revelations of multiple affairs. Isabella faced paternity fraud charges, and court ordered her to repay substantial sum for years I'd supported Catalina. Though Catalina was Declan's biological child, I chose limited visitation to maintain our emotional bond. Not her fault her mother was liar. Gerald divorced his wife and joined me as accountant in my new venture. When final gavel fell, both Isabella and Declan had paid financially and socially for lies they'd spun. Sometimes the clown gets the last laugh,